All right, we're back again with another installment of, or another root tendril for blah, blah, blah. If you've watched any of these videos, you know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't, it's not that important until you get to them. So something I want to talk about in this installment is something that Mary said in that program on September 19th that really caught my attention. She said so much that caught my attention. This is one of them. She said, and I can't remember if this is hers or if she was quoting somebody else. So I don't know who actually said it first. I heard her say it. My history does not determine my destiny. That made me sit up straight. My history does not determine my destiny. Got me thinking. Because when she said that, I could hear myself saying to people, I am the way I am because I was abused as a child. Because people used to say to me all the time, why are you such a victim? Well, I can't help it that I'm this way. I am this way because I was abused as a child, and I could even say to people, I have been programmed to be a victim, never thinking that I could change the program, never even considering that I could change the program until I heard Mary say that. My history does not determine my destiny. And another time she said my history need not determine my destiny. That's where I went. My history, it can, but it doesn't have to. My history does not have to determine my destiny. Just because something happened back there doesn't mean it has any power right here. Even if back there was only 5 seconds ago. Just because something happened, 30 seconds ago out in the living room with my husband, I mean, it didn't, but I'm using that as an example because I have no idea who's watching these videos. What happened in your life 5 minutes ago that pissed you off and that you're still fuming about? What happened in traffic this morning that pissed you off and ruined your whole day, or that scared you and made you afraid to drive in traffic? Or, what? I mean, I could go on and on with the examples. What happened 5 years ago that you're still carrying around with you and that you're still being a victim of? That's the question. Because if you're allowing something that happened back there to determine how you feel right here, then you're being your own victim. Plain and simple. And those are my words. Those are not, she wasn't talking at all about victimhood or any of that. She wasn't talking at all about that. This is all me. The only thing that I'm quoting Mary Mann Morrissey when I say my history doesn't determine my destiny. My history does not determine my destiny unless I allow it to. Unless I allow it to. Some of us allow it to our whole entire damn lives. Well, my father was not abusive. However, he never forgave me for being born a girl. He never forgave me for being born a girl. And so he treated me as less than, as not enough, because I was not a boy. And when he divorced my mother, he married a woman who had a son who was much older than me. And that's where the abuse happened. And my father allowed the abuse to happen. He knew it was going on. He didn't stop it. When somebody saw the bruises on my body and I was removed from his home and somebody spoke to him about it, he said, if there, quote unquote, if there are bruises, I put them there, because he needed to protect his son. It is what it is. It is what it is. I no longer carry resentment about that because I know how toxic that can be. It took me a very long time. It took me a very long time to let go of it. And even now, sometimes I have to remind myself, nope, I forgave that. I forgave that. I forgave that on my own behalf. Not for him, not for them, but for myself, because it's freaking unhealthy for me to carry that around. My history does not get to have any power in my current moment unless I hand it to it. And then I'm dragging around all this dead weight. Oh, let's drag some dead weight around with us. Let's, it's not healthy. It's not healthy. And during that program in September of 1999, Mary said, my history does not determine my destiny, and I took that to heart. I took it to heart. And I went, oh my God, you mean I don't have to drag that around? I can set it down. I don't have to carry it with me. I don't have to bring it up in conversation all the time. I don't have to get people to feel sorry for me because I'm such a victim, because I was programmed to be this way. You mean I can do it differently from the way I've always done it? Another thing she said regarding this was, when you catch yourself allowing your history to have that power in who you're being in the moment, you can do this. Nope, not anymore. Up until now, that's who I've been. Up until now, that's how I've behaved. Up until now, I used this when I quit smoking. Up until now, I was a smoker, and now I'm not. Up until now, I've been a smoker, but now I'm not. And now I'm really not, because I haven't had a cigarette in 15 years. But that's one of the tools I use to quit smoking up until now. My history does not determine my destiny. My craving for a cigarette doesn't have any power in this moment unless I hand it to it and unless I give in to it. But I'm more powerful than my craving for a cigarette. That was the dialogue that went on inside my mind regarding quitting smoking. My history doesn't determine my destiny. I'm choosing my destiny as a non-smoker. Up until now, I've allowed my nicotine fits to have more power than me, but not anymore. Up until now. 3 words, up until now. Up until I used those words diligently during those 9 months that I stayed in that relationship. Up until now, I have allowed him to make me cry when he's called me a piece of shit. Up until now, I've allowed him to take away my self-esteem by humiliating me in public. Up until now, not anymore. Not anymore. Oh boy. He had a hard time with that, because as I was using these tools, I was beginning to shift who I was in relationship with him, in engaging with him. It was happening. The dynamic changed when I started using these tools. This is what this whole Lotus and the Butterfly thing, website, domestic violence shift revolution thing is about. It's about shifting the domestic violence dynamic from the inside out. And this is one of the things that I used to do it. As I was using all of these tools, because I wouldn't always remember the up until now thing, but I would remember just a little shift in direction, a mile down the road, you're in a whole new place. Well, how can I shift my direction in this moment? And something always came to me. This segment is about history, destiny, up until now. As I was using these tools, I was becoming different in the relationship. And the domestic violence dynamic shifted. And I was empowered. I was learning how to not be his victim anymore, no matter what he was doing to me, no matter how he was treating me. I didn't have to be his victim. And I have since come to a real belief that there's no such thing as victim. And that might sound harsh to somebody who's in that kind of atmosphere, but I serve myself. I myself serve as proof that cycle of abuse, domestic violence dynamic, call it whatever you want, can be shifted from the inside out. And I think the most powerful way to do it is from the victim side of the dynamic. I'll say that over and over again. That's what I think. That's what I believe. That's how I did it. And it was an amazing experience. And during that experience, within that experience, I began to learn my own worth and my own strength because of the different choices that I was making. One of them being to remember that my history does not have to determine my destiny. Just because he hit me in the head 10 minutes ago doesn't mean that I have to carry that forward and brood about it and feel sorry for myself and talk to my friends and get them to feel sorry for me too and get sympathy from people. I don't think sympathy serves anybody. It doesn't shift anything. Compassion is one thing. Sympathy is something completely different. So just because that happened doesn't mean I have to carry it around with me. It's just something that happened. And yes, it physically hurt. Whatever he said, he called me a whore. Well, that comes from him. It doesn't have really anything to do with me, except I'm the person he said it to, because he needed the reaction from me. So just because he said that about me, to me, doesn't mean it's true. And it doesn't mean I have to, I don't have to own it. Just because he said it, I don't have to own it. In fact, I can look at him with compassion and see only a person who is in a tremendous amount of pain can treat another person that way and think it's okay. And they're doing it to ease their own pain. They're doing it to make themselves feel better. I would much rather look at somebody who's behaving that way with compassion than with judgment, because compassion can help and judgment can't. But I just totally went off track. Sorry, I'm not going to edit it out because I'm not going to take the time. Anyway, just because something happened back there doesn't mean it has any power right here. And if I find myself, and this is how it worked, I wasn't very good at it at first. And then I got to the point where I would notice that, oh, look at me behaving this way because of something that happened back there. No, up until now, I reacted this way. Right now, I can stop reacting this way and I can choose to respond in a different way. Was basically how I did it. It took self-discipline. It took rigor. It took really wanting the change, because it's not easy. It wasn't easy, but it was so worth it. It was so worth it. It was such hard work, but it was so worth it. And I highly recommend it. And I'm not going to say any more because I could beat this subject to death. Try it. Try remembering that your history does not determine your destiny, and that you can, at any point, even in the middle of an argument with someone, you can say, oh, wait a minute. Up until now, I interacted with you in this way, but I don't have to. And right now, I'm going to choose not to. Or whatever. In the midst of whatever circumstance you find yourself in where you're reacting out of habit rather than responding from truly thinking about what's going on, you can always nip it right there and say, nope, up until now, that's who I was. Right now I'm choosing not to be that person because I'm choosing my own destiny. And you can. So enjoy yourself. Try it out. Leave comments. Leave comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. I would love some interaction on these videos, just to know that people are actually watching them and getting something out of them. So enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.